Hi, my name is Rebecca. I'm a graduate of Ghana Christian International High School. I urge you all to subscribe to His God TV. Thank you.
Hello there, you're welcome to His God TV. My name is Colin Nanaya Abebese. Uh, in today's lesson, I would want us to take and look at a very sensitive topic and very, of course, debatable for that matter in the history of Ghana. We are looking at the one-party system, which was implemented by Sergeant Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's government, the CPP, in 1964. This policy has been one of the major backlash against Nkrumah's government or the CPP's government. And if you read anywhere about the reasons for the fall of Sergeant Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, you will come across this policy as being one of the issues that are led to the overthrow of Sergeant Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as the president of the Republic of Ghana. And so today we are going to take a look at the reasons why Nkrumah adopted this one-party system, which, received a lot of backlash from the general public and even from the international community. And that is basically going to be our lesson topic for today, to look at the reasons why Nkrumah adopted the one-party system in Ghana. But before we begin with the discussion and look at our lesson objectives, I would like to remind you to subscribe to our channel if you have not done so. If you have already done so, we thank you very much for your support. So without wasting much time, let's take a look at our objectives for today. Very simple. By the end of our lesson, you should be able to explain the reasons why the one-party system was adopted under Nkrumah. For the reasons why the one-party system was adopted by Nkrumah. And this should be our lesson objective. So let this objective guide us in our discussions. So let's begin with our introduction. Before we even talk about the reasons for the adoption of the one-party system, let's take a look at what is one-party system in general. When we talk of one-party system of governance, what is it? So it's a system of government where only one party is permitted, which means that when a country adopts a one-party system, it means that only one political party is allowed to operate in the country. So this is a direct opposite to a multi-party system. A multi-party system is whereby several political parties are allowed to contest and even operate in the country, and that is what Ghana currently in the Fourth Republic is practicing, a multi-party system where several parties are allowed to to operate and to also for contest for elections. Now, however, in a one-party system, what happens is that only one party is allowed or is even legal. So if you form any other political party outside the legal or the recognized political party, you could be jailed, for that matter. And so that is what the one-party system is about, or it looks like. Only one party rules the whole state or is allowed to operate. And so the people are the party, the country are the party, everything is in one, which means that no elections will be allowed to take place in some instances, so there are many other issues surrounding the one-party system or the one-party state. So let's take a look at the history behind this whole one-party system. But before that, let me state emphatically that Nkrumah never introduced the one-party system in Ghana. Let nobody tell you that Nkrumah introduced the one-party system in Ghana. It wasn't Nkrumah that introduced the one-party system in Ghana. It was the National Assembly, which today is known as Parliament. It was Parliament that introduced the one-party system, and Parliament in governance represents the people. And so, if the people accept or Parliament accept for the introduction of a one-party system, you don't blame the president, for introducing a one-party system. So Nkrumah on record never introduced a one-party system. It was Parliament that introduced the one-party system. Nkrumah did not, by decree, introduce the one-party system. And so that, narration or that argument that people do that Nkrumah introduced the one-party system, it wasn't Nkrumah. It was the Parliament, National Assembly, that did that. Good. Now, the government of Kwame Nkrumah won approval of a constitutional referendum in 1964 that made Ghana a one-party state, and Nkrumah himself, will be, of course, president for life. So it was a constitutional referendum won by the party. So it's just like today when somebody says e-levy was introduced by Akufo-Addo. No, e-levy was introduced by Parliament, not Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo only, assented to it, and he could have rejected though, but e-levy was passed by Parliament. So Nkrumah never passed. Nkrumah never, by decree, introduced the one party and said that let my party be the only party in Ghana. No, it was done by Parliament. The National Assembly, and you don't blame him for that. So they received that in 1964, and so that one-party system was actually introduced. So Ghana became one-party system officially on February 1st, 1964. This was the day that Ghana officially became a one-party state, and 2 years later, after this bill was passed, Nkrumah was overthrown in 1966. But it is interesting. I came across some newspapers, some reportings in the newspapers, and I just decided to share with you for us to take a look at it, study it, and really come to the conclusion that was it really that Nkrumah was a dictator. So let's look at the first newspaper. This is a evening newspaper, and it says Nkrumah must remain for president for life. Okay, and this was published somewhere on February 13th, 1960. So this newspaper, or this was published 4 years, I think so. Yeah, 4 years, because the one party came into being in 1964. So this is what the newspaper is saying. Interestingly, let's take a look at the newspaper here. 2 years down the line, this is 1962, October. Then a news also reports that Osagyefo refuses to be live president. Osagyefo refuses to be live president. 1960, a newspaper reports that Nkrumah must remain president for life. Then 2 years later, a newspaper says that Osagyefo refuses to be live president. And if you read, it is interesting. And this is to also debunk the assertion out there, the propaganda which is or was being perpetuated by neo-colonial people, that Nkrumah actually wanted to be president for life. That is why he introduced the one-party system and banned all other parties from operating. That is also false. Okay, you have seen the records for yourself. 1962, October, Wednesday, 3rd, Nkrumah rejects to be live president. Now, if you read, if you can read, it says Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah yesterday refused to accept a decision by the National Assembly making him live president of the country. Okay, and if you read further, it says that Nkrumah says, if you want to make me live president, let the people show that in their voting. So where is the evidence of a dictator who wanted to be president for life, who, ban all other political parties from contesting. Don't forget, Nkrumah had won all the three major elections conducted in the Gold Coast. Nkrumah had won all of them. The first one in 1951, 1954, and 1956. Nkrumah had won all of them with majority until he was overthrown. He had won all three elections. No political party in this country has won an election on three consecutive times. So where is the fact that Nkrumah was a dictator and he introduced one party and all of that? So yeah, with these assertions being cleared, if you have your opinion, you can share in the comment section for us. Now that we've known that Nkrumah did not arbitrarily, by decree introduce the one-party system, let's take and look at why then did he assent to the one-party system bill. Because here we have said that he refused to be president for life because the National Assembly was actually thinking of making him for president for life, and he refused. So why then did he assent to the bill for it to become law on February 1st, 1964, whereby Ghana became a one-party state? So let's then dive into the reasons why Nkrumah accepted to be accepted that Ghana should be a one-party state. The first one was because of national unity. To Nkrumah, a one-party system will bring everybody together, will bring the whole nation on board, because he felt that at the time of independence, Ghana was too small a country to practice a multi-party democracy. Nkrumah needed oneness of the people with one destiny, with one nation. That is what Nkrumah needed, and that was the way to go, I believe, because a lot of parties were, political parties were formed on tribalistic lines, ethnic lines, religion. We had parties like the Northern Supposed Party, the Anglo Youth Organization, the National Liberation Movement formed by the Asante, Anglo by the Ewes, Northern Supposed Party, those in the north. The Ewe and other funny, Muslim Youth Association or so. And all these parties or political parties were formed on either religion, based on religion, tribes, or anything else. And forming a party on a religious or tribal basis was not the way to go for a newly independent nation like Ghana. So if the NLM, for instance, wins the election, it means that their major focus may be on the Asante. If the Anglo Youth Organization wins, it means they may be focusing on the Anglo people. So Nkrumah felt that national unity was key, because today you and I will agree that for politics is dividing us. Politics is has clouded our mind, our eyes, to the extent that even if the thing is white, because of politics we can't even speak to it. Because of politics, citizens can't even criticize government. The moment you criticize, you are from here. NDC, NPP, people fight, physically. Can you imagine? Just because you are NPP and I'm NDC. So Nkrumah felt that this was needed for the newly independent country. And I watched a video of KB Asante, who was Nkrumah's secretary, and asked Nkrumah, he asked Nkrumah, why do you want a one-party system? And he said that, according to Nkrumah, he said, I have established a lot of industries, but I don't have people to man them. The people who do that are in the opposition. They don't want to come and help. They are rather opposing everything that I do. Even the Akosombo Dam, it was opposed by Busia and his people, the Progress Party. They opposed the establishment or the construction of the Akosombo Dam. What do you call it? Tema motorway, Accra Tema motorway. It was opposed by Busia. So imagine that all these projects, which today are our top-notch projects, after 1966, when Akosombo Dam was constructed and all of that, what other project have we done that is somewhere near to the construction of that dam? Even today that we have that dam, look at our power, the state of our power situation in this country. So had the dam not been constructed, you can imagine like what we would be in as a country. So this opposition was what Nkrumah didn't want at that time. So that is that national unity. Let's take a look at the next one. The next one was quick decision making. One party system aids in quick decision making. It ensures quick decision making to implement government policies and programs. There are a lot of things that today the new patriotic party, NPP, the governing party, wants to implement, but because they lack, sheer higher majority, they are not able to do so, and which is retrogressing the development of the country. Quite recently, Parliament refused to, vet the newly appointed for ministers. Why? Because the minority, decided not to do so, and they took the issue to court and all of that. Why is the government not able to just pass interview? They say they won't do it. Why? Because they are playing politics, delay tactics. We have our numbers, so we will not help you to get the majority to actually pass the laws that you want to do. And that is all what some of our politicians do deliberately. And so in a one-party system, to Nkrumah, it will ensure fast or decision making, very fast, because there is no opposition, to actually, oppose anything. The next one was, the next, of course, reason also has to do with stable government. One-party system ensures stability in government. Stability in government. And this is very key in our development as a developing country or a newly independent country. Even today, we have issues whereby, government A starts a project and government B does not continue because it feels that I was not the one that actually started the project. And you can bear with me, there has been a lot of projects left in the bush to rot. Why? Because it was all started by the sitting government. Example is the e-blocks. Example are hospitals. But when you have a one-party state, what happens is that there is stability, there is continuity. We have spent quite a lot of money. There was a time just 2 years ago or so, there was this big hospital in Okonfo-Anokye. The whole building had to be pulled down because the building had been there for approximately like 30 years, from the 1970s, like almost above like 30 years, and no government, has continued the work. Very big story building, very big. They had to pull all of them down because they say that after assessment, the kind of money they will pump in, to continue with the construction will be more than if they even, collapse it and build a new one. So they collapsed the whole building, very big building. They collapsed all of them, and now they are building a new one. What kind of country is? Do we have money that much to build all the blocks? We have arranged everything. I think it had even been roofed. They had to pull everything down to start a new one. Who bears the cost of that amount of money? So stability is very key, and Nkrumah felt that he needed that one-party system so that he could continue with what he was doing. And indeed, when he was overthrown, we saw, of course, what happened. All the state enterprises were sold. A lot of them were, privatized. And what has become of the industries that he, constructed, because there was no continuity. You get the point? Because if you were in opposition and you were, against my construction of a certain road, there is no way when you come to power you will continue to construct that road, and that is going to, create a whole mess. So It was very, very key. Stability, so that there will be continuity, okay, in governance. Now let's take a look at the last two. There was also negative tendencies on multi-party system. When you allow a multi-party system, what happens is that parties will be formed on tribal basis. Parties, multi-party system normally will divide people. Yes, it divides people, especially when they say, oh, this party is for this tribe, oh, that party is for that tribe. It doesn't help in the development of the country. And these are some of the negative tendencies associated with a multi-party system. Okay, it divides the people, and we all have seen what politics has done to a lot of people in this country. Are you also welcome? So to Nkrumah, these tendencies were not, were not healthy for the newly independent country. And for us to be focused as a country, we needed to avoid a multi-party system and go the one-party system, so that these tendencies will be eliminated. All right, good. Now let's take a look at the next one. Was cheaper to operate. It is economical for a smaller country like Ghana. Cheaper to operate, economical. You wouldn't need millions of dollars to conduct an election every year. Print a new voters register every 4 years. Spend huge sums of money on election, and let me tell you, the amount of money that goes into election will shock you. Last 4 years or so, ECG was asking for $30 million to conduct election. My friend, it's not easy. $30 million to go, to conduct election. So it is cheaper. There are some African countries, I can tell you, they lack, funds to conduct elections. And I can also tell you that we go to the international community to borrow to conduct elections in this country. So where is the sense in this? If you are not up to the task, why worry yourself? So these are many more where some of the reasons why Nkrumah felt that the one-party system was the way to go for the newly independent country, Ghana. And so I decided to sign or assent to the bill for it to become a law. I hope you have been educated. Try your hand on this work for me. If you also have any other view, my view might be different. I'll be happy to read your comment on this one-party system. You think it is the way to go, or it was a bad move on the part of the CPP and the Nkrumah government? Share your view in the comment section. Have a nice day, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.